Welcome to the Take a Seat podcast. This is Mario.
And Clint.
And tonight, or today, well, actually, first and foremost, thank you again for joining us. And thank you for listening to that last podcast, actually.
Yeah.
I had not quite a few, but a few people actually shout out to Ken because they could feel his sincerity.
Yeah, shout out to
and
Ken.
what he was saying.
Me too.
And
God, I wish we had it recorded, like video recorded.
Yes, that would have been even better.
Yes.
Definitely. But that's in the works.
Genuine.
It's in the works. It's just a money thing, but we'll get there. And Clinton and I are usually pretty good at picking up who's BSing and who's not. You know, if we thought it was BS, we wouldn't have given it time of day.
Not at all.
But anyway, thank you for listening to that. And thank you for being here. So, 2 days ago, I was in the sauna at Crunch Fitness. As per usual, I'm in there like 40 minutes, 45 minutes sometimes. I love it. 193 degrees. I told you about that already. Like, it's great. I love it.
That's crazy.
It's amazing to me. And usually it's just routine. Have my headphones in. I'll be listening to some type of house music or something that allows me to meditate. Because I love meditating when I'm in there. Something about like being in the heat, right? And being physically what's the word I'm looking for?
Burned alive.
Yeah. Somehow allows me to like train my mind to focus.
Yeah.
And so this is a deliberate thing I do where like I'll crank that thing all the way up to 193 and train my body to like handle the heat. But I don't let my body be what controls my willingness to get out or my urge to get out. I get out whenever I feel like the timer is ready to go.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Sometimes the damn sauna, it's excruciating. And at minute 10, I want to get out, but it's all mental. So it's just mental stuff. The point is, yeah, it's kind of unnecessary, but I kind of like it. Whatever. Better than doing drugs. So, yeah, tit for tat, I guess. Anyway, so a guy came in, right? Really lanky, skinny.
There's nothing wrong with skinny, lanky people, Mario.
Bony,
There's nothing wrong with bony, skinny, lanky people.
These people act like food doesn't exist. And well, I guess I act like all the food belongs to me. Anyway, and so he just comes in there and I'm playing this game on my phone. It's slots, right? Vegas slots or whatever. And I play that sometimes to engage my mind because I don't like to just like, sometimes I'll read, sometimes I'll meditate, and then sometimes I'll just play slots just to keep my mind going. You know, that's it. Because there's an actual stimuli research done on slots and human beings and why they're so popular in Vegas. Separate conversation for that. Point is, I do it, engage my mind. So the guy, he sits next to me. It's just completely coincidence. There is nothing planned over there, like or anything like that. And he sits next to me. He's like, "Man, are you up or are you down?" I was like, "I'm up about 23 million." And he was like, "Wow, is that like real?" I said, "Oh, hell no, dude. If I had $23 million, I wouldn't be sitting here right now.
Straight up.
I'd be in the Bahamas and being fat over there instead of over here." And he laughed, and he was like, "Man, but like, do you gamble?" I said, "Hell no, dude. If I'm gonna lose money, I want it to be fictional money, and I want to do it here. There is no way you'll see me in Vegas ever, unless it's for my girlfriend or just to like have fun.
Yeah,
I'm willing to lose $500 in penny machines.
Yes,
perfectly fine. You'll never see me at a crab stable or a poker or nothing like that. Yeah. Never." Yeah, no. And I'll take that to the bank.
Yeah.
And he said, "That's great, man. I'm glad you think like that because it's a waste." And so I told him, "Yeah, why? Do you gamble or what?" He said, "No, I used to." I said, "Oh, okay. You like like street dice, like craps, or like what do you like?" He's like, "No, dude. I was a high roller, like high roller in Vegas." And I was like, "Oh, okay. What do you mean, like 1,000, $5,000, $10,000? Because it's subjective." High roller. He said, "No, dude. Like, now listen. This guy went on a whole rant and I appreciate it. It's great for me. I have that personality to where like I'll talk to anybody. Let's talk about life and let's see where you come from, and then let's see how you think you're gonna die, all in 30 minutes.
That's my type of conversation.
And but it just happens. I never planned this stuff. It just happens.
Yeah.
And so he said, "Nah, man, I was betting like 500 grand, $1 million hands. Like I was betting immeasurable numbers. Like it just didn't make sense to gamble that much."
Yeah.
And I asked him, "Well, what do you do?" He said, "Oh, right now I'm not doing anything. I live out of an RV with my girlfriend." I said, "So if you're living out of an RV, how did you gamble all this money and you end up here?" Granted, I mean, it's kind of obvious. Like, you gambled all your money away, so you ended up broke, essentially. But I wanted to see where he was going, or like why he was engaging in this conversation.
Yeah.
And he told me like he was a trust fund baby. I mean, like the typical like South Cal boy that has all that, like those super white boy accent.
Yeah.
And doesn't even care about like.
He was white?
Yeah, white. Okay. And blonde, blue. I mean, the typical trust fund baby stigma, unfortunately, because it's kind of a double standard. But he fit everything to the T. And he said, "Yeah, like my family was in oil. My family did this." And I mean, fast forward to current day, when we were having the conversation, all of them are broke. They lost all of their money, everything. The first 25 years of his life, he spent as a millionaire, pretty much. So to him, it was nothing to go and, weekend in Vegas and use daddy's money or mommy's money and, just take advantage of that. Like, I get it. If you're coming from that world, it's kind of like coming from the hood. You don't care about rich people's problems. You got your own problems. Same thing. You just happen to be rich. Yeah. So, out of sight, out of mind, respectfully. So he just started telling me all this, and he said that he fell into like drug habits in combination with gambling, in combination with escorts, because in Vegas that's legal. Yeah. So, you can go crazy over there. And like he was living a lifestyle, not just Vegas, but like all over the world. He was going to Haiti. He was going, everywhere, dude, living that rich boy life to the fullest. Yeah. But neither him or his family ever bothered to save anything. From his own mouth, he said his dad was he was in that business of oil, but he never saved anything. Like, they were the idiots that were made millionaires because their parents knew the business and they got him in there, and they knew business, but they didn't know life. So like they just wasted everything, absolutely wasted it. Now I'm sure at some point they had properties and houses and all that, but I mean, he was just like, dude, we wasted everything. Now, usually, right, with these particular individuals that just open up too much, sometimes to me it's just like, oh, you just want to vent, or like you just have something to say. But no, like he was like, dude, I think it's a huge misconception of like rich people, man, to like think that we got the whole world in our hands. Like, dog, most of us don't know what the hell we're doing. We just got money with it. That's it. At least from his perspective. And yeah. And like, I mean, really, most people in general, rich or poor. Yeah. No, let me not say rich. He happens to be part of the maybe 1% of the rich idiots. But I would say like the average consumer doesn't have money to like blow on that shit, or even save. Like even, I mean, yeah, they didn't save anything that they're rich, but I don't think that's something that just rich people do. Like, I think that's people in general. Yeah. I think, actually, I saw a statistic, and you just said it right now. Your statistic was like 56% of people don't have more than $5,000 in their bank account total, or just savings? Savings. I know I don't. I have about Americans. I have about 2. So that's savings, But total, no, I definitely don't. Absolutely. And I think that's most people though. Even the people making $60,000-$70,000 a year. No, I don't think so.
Yeah, no.
It's just like
$100,000 a year, $200,000 a year. I mean, there's a lot of people that they spend everything that they have, and they're still living paycheck to paycheck.
Absolutely,
it's crazy,
dude.
Yeah. And you would think that because these people are so smart that they get to the position to where they're making $200,000-$300,000 a year, that they would also be smart enough to be saving. But
no, you're just really good at your job.
Yeah, or just
that's it.
Yeah, happen to get a job that pays really well.
Yeah,
and you're smart enough to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he lived all his life, and then his dad cut him off. Like his dad told him, "You're done. Like you're draining us more than we're draining ourselves. So you're gonna have to do your own thing."
Yeah.
And so from one day to the next, he lost everything, right? At least to him. And he was literally homeless for according to him, about 6 months, which I believe it. Like, if you ever talk to a homeless person, not the crazy ones, but like the semi-rational ones, they'll give you a whole rant about whatever, right?
Yeah.
And it could sometimes be concise and sometimes it's not. His happened to be concise. His vocabulary, his structure to his story, and everything told me, oh, okay, so one, you have a habit of giving your whole story immediately, so that's a homeless trait that I've seen before. But you have education on your side now, because you've told me about certain books like Rich Dad Poor Dad, and then Think Rich, Be Rich, or something like that. You know, the one that Dennis gave?
Grow Rich.
Think and Grow Rich. He stated those two books, and I was like, oh, so you're literate. So you're educated now, at least. I think it was like his mid-30s, maybe late 30s. And anyway, so he said, man, like I was homeless in California for about 6 months.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Out of all places.
Yeah. And he was out there. Like, I don't think his family lived out there. That just happened to be his, like, demeanor and how he looked and all that. But he was out there living his life when he was cut off, and that's where he ended up. Then he somehow ended up back here in Texas, or here in Texas in general, and he just started like reading, and not just looking at books on how to get rich, educating himself on the financial institutions and the structures that we have currently in place, all this trickle down economics bullshit, like everything, he studied it because he wanted to make sure that he didn't end up in the same place again. Yeah. And again, if you know those two books, you'll know that not just anybody reads those two books.
Yeah.
If you read those two books, at least Rich Dad Poor Dad, you're at least trying to educate yourself on finances. Not get rich. Educate yourself. Big difference.
Yeah.
So he told me that, and then he ended up over here, and then he was like, well, where do you work at after his 15-minute tirade? And I was like, oh, I work at, so-and-so, and I make, so-and-so. I was very transparent with him. And he was like, man, I know you may not think you make a lot, but dude, he's like, and he gave me some crazy percentage that I believe it. Like, for the sake of the story, I believe it. He said it's something like 70% of people in the country or something like that don't make what you make. Yeah. Like the average consumer isn't necessarily average salary per se.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why you have Democrats and why you have so many people pushing for like free programs. Like this isn't just a coincidence. And so like he was going into that bag, like real deep. And I welcomed it because I wanted to see what he had to say. And because some things I already know. I'll get into those a little bit. And so he kind of he was telling me like, man, I live in an RV deliberately because I want to save money.
Yeah.
My utilities are super low. I don't pay rent. I own my RV. I'm saving enough money to go ahead and get me a townhouse. Like after 10 years, he was working in some type of like mechanical engineering or something like that.
Mm.
But like you look at him, he had that like tan of like homeless tan. You know what I mean? Like homeless
Yeah.
white people have this tan to
Yeah,
them.
it's like a burnt type
It's
of
like a burnt. Yeah, exactly.
dark caramel.
Yeah, exactly
burnt
right.
caramel, yeah. Oh, you know what it is? It's like oh shoot.
Tobacco leaf.
No. But hey, shout out to tobacco leaves.
Yeah.
No, it's that like that creamy custard that you put the flame on the top of it.
Oh, yeah, that they put on pastries, right?
Yeah, but it's like a creamy custard that you like burn.
You throw it and it turns into like caramelized or something
they
like
serve
that.
it at Perry's.
Mm-hmm. I know what you're talking about.
Darn it! I wish I knew the name of this right now. But anyway,
Point is that he said he deliberately lived on $20,000 a year per se, but he didn't make that. He made about my salary.
That's great.
But again, he doesn't care. Like he's like, man, I've had so many. I don't care about girlfriends. I don't care about none of that. I've had everything you could have as a man. I don't care about any of that.
Mm-hmm.
I want my own stuff. Like he's on that bag, like on that path.
That's great.
Yeah, which is great. So it's fantastic. I don't know if I could do it. RVs are kind of small and whatever. That's not the point.
I could totally do it.
And so he was just kind of putting me on to some financial game. He was like, man, if you can get to about 60, 70 a year, stay where you are. He was realistic optimism, not like optimism to where something is almost unreal, unrealistically achievable. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, dude, if you just get to that point right there, save, get yourself a house, give it 5 years, enjoy it, rent that hoe, do the same thing, save, over and over again. That way, by the time you're 50 years old, you'll be set and have some income coming in, right? That way, by the time you're 60 years old, you can retire early. Like, the thing is that the economy and the way that inflation is going right now, by the time you and I reach that point, because I'm 27 now and you're 35 now, right? Or 40. Close enough. And, dude, I think the middle class is going to be 100,000 to 150,000. That's how bad I think inflation is going to get, and how bad the dollar is going to fall in value. Frankly,
I don't doubt it.
And so you're kind of, if you're in our generation and you're thinking that by the time you get 65, that $200,000, or let's go by where we work at standards, $300,000 retirement, that ain't gonna cut it. No, it's not gonna cut it. And I think you're gonna have to have like $500,000, $1 million by the time you retire to live comfortably as an average citizen. You just cruise until the day you die, which is fine. It's great. I think that's what most people want, really. But he said that's what you want. Trust me, none of the other shit is ever worth it because you'll never have enough of it. What did that guy say that's dying that gave you the advice? Save money because you'll never have enough of it. This is another individual saying the same thing. And both of these guys had money. They don't even know each other, well, as far as I know. So what does that tell me? Don't worry about being rich. Just spend the money. It's okay to be broke.
There you go.
Forget saving.
Thank you. Yeah.
You'll get to 35 and just restructure everything. It's fine. Well, so to end it, he just kind of put me onto some game, and he said, it's never fucking worth it. Don't chase money, chase happiness. He said, as long as you're happy with your lifestyle, that's what it's about, man. Like, just if you have a family, raise that family. If you have a wife, enjoy your wife and enjoy your happiness. Because there's nothing out there outside of your family that you'll ever love more than your family. Like, nothing. Money, women, drugs, cars, houses, none of that matters when you're alone at 60 to 65 years old and you're hooking up with 20-year-olds because you have to pay them to get attention.
Yeah.
Like, none of that matters. Trust me. Like, his passion for that point was like on another level. Like, almost trying to save me from getting to that. Like, he thinks I'm going to be rich one day. Which I appreciate the enthusiasm. I just want to be a thousandaire, you know, have a couple grand in the bank and not have to worry about it. But I thought about it afterwards and like, I started thinking like, damn, I think if more people took the initiative, like us, you and I read a lot. So we're not exactly, obviously we're not rich, but we're not financially dumb.
Yeah.
Like I want to say we are pretty smart with our finances, and at least I am really good at managing myself.
Yeah.
And, but it makes me wonder like, how many people don't actually? And obviously we just stated the stigmas. It's just, and I mean the actual percentages of people that clearly don't handle their money well.
Yeah.
And I started thinking like, I jumped into the rabbit hole, man. Like he led me to the hole. I just jumped right in there and I just started dissecting everything. And I started thinking like, damn, you know, my parents, you know, they're fine now, managing. They have their own house, you know, they're fine. They're actually fine, surprisingly. But had they taken the initiative to educate themselves when I was a kid, maybe certain things would not have happened. You know, because I remember at one point my dad was making some serious money, man. Like,
what was he doing?
Like 80, 90. Working in air conditioning. He's working in air conditioning like 30 years now.
Yeah.
So working in air conditioning, you can make some real money. But if you're uneducated, not an idiot, uneducated in how to handle your money, you'll have zero.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Yeah.
And that's what they did. Like, dude, my mom, I'll reference a previous podcast where I said she did the cover-up behavior. Bro, they were making that kind of money, raising us and covering up. You shouldn't be doing that if you're making that much money. Covering up behaviors, late on bills. Like, how bad are you of finances that you're late on bills making way more than the average person?
Yeah.
You know? That's coming from a personal level. Now, I'm not just saying just in general.
Was your mom working or was it just your dad?
Just my dad. My mom was a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, he makes money. Like, she doesn't necessarily need to work. She just had the, you know, stay-at-home mom syndrome where you finding shit to do and, you know, you do certain shit, but that's not the point.
Yeah.
But had they educated themselves or had some type of behavior to like pass on to me or my siblings, things may have turned out differently.
Yeah.
You know, but they didn't. And I'm glad they didn't, because at least I get a chance to like, well, me and my siblings, not just me. We are financially educated a little bit and we have the chance to like break that cycle of everyone's poor.
Yeah.
You know, even if you have money. And, you know, it just, I remember certain things, man, like look, when I tell y'all 2014 through like 2018, dude, those were some hellhole years for me. Like, I wasn't just doing drugs and sleeping with any and everyone, every woman and every woman. Like, I don't want to say everyone. No, I wasn't.
She was sleeping with everyone. It already came out.
It was a roaring 70s, basically. But in me needing money in those times, certain situations happened that kind of like left some severe scars. Now, I'm saying this next part for legal purposes. This is a story, fictional entirely, for legal purposes, in Minecraft. It happened on Xbox. I saw a video of it on YouTube. You know, some YouTuber said it. So this is the story. Here we go. So I covered my bases, so I'm fine now. So one day, this 6 foot tall, caramel, good looking brother.
Is that?
No,
No, he's not caramel. He's vanilla.
yeah,
Okay.
pale actually. But anyway, he drove a Camaro. He was pretty charismatic. He was sleeping around with women and doing drugs and just involving himself in things that didn't pertain to him.
Mhm.
So this gentleman one day decided that he wanted to partake in a business of marijuana
Mhm.
and sell it as a distributor, right?
Mhm.
So this individual went to, for the story purposes, Mr. A. Mr. A. So I'll just outright say it. We had a little too much coffee, needed to take a break real quick. Business needed to be taken care of. We're back now. Anyway, back to the story time. This all happened in Minecraft. It happened on Xbox Live, etc., Call of Duty, all that stuff. So, individual number one of a bright idea. I'm already smoking this stuff. I could sell this. Everyone does it anyway. What's the big deal? Obviously, individual number one knew it was illegal. But he was really cool with his dealer. So Mr. Dealer said, okay, fine. We play hoops. We have some friendly rapport. We went to Chili's together. We shared appetizers, man. Why not this?
Shoot, that's friendship there.
Why not share some profits? Easy profits at that, especially in the area.
Yeah.
So, dealer gives individual number one a certain amount of things to deal. Individual number one meets the quota. Dealer's impressed, gives him more. Rinse and repeat. Things happen that individual number one doing pretty good. That's not his career path. And dealer was actually pretty great for looking out for individual number one. So he let individual one sell, but at any moment said, if you want out, you're out. I like you too much to let you dive too deep into this shit to where I am. See, I do stocks and do this on the side, but only one of these can get me killed. This one can, to make it clear. He had kids. Dealer had a wife. Cool guy. You never know that dealer was doing what he was doing. Never. I'm sure his wife did, but, appearances. Never know. So, individual one. So, individual one, knowing that he has this, escape, takes advantage of it. And he starts recruiting. But he gets a dealer first. Says, hey, I have this bright idea. There's this high school nearby. Just swing by there. I know a couple of the cats ran into them before. Let me put them on. What do they care? And instead of paying them in money, just give them weed. They're already smoking and they're dumb. They don't care about anything else. Let them. So dealer, very skeptical, said, okay, cool. It's on you though. Just know that. Whatever you have out now, you choosing to do this puts a responsibility on you now. Because it's not just you. See, I trust you, individual number one. I trust you. You have my entire trust to the point where I want you to get out of this. I don't even want you to do this, but I want you to get your money.
Yeah.
So do your thing. But no, if one of these little kids fucks up on your watch, it's your ass. With all due respect. Not like you. So just know. So individual one said, "Oh, it's all good, man. I'll make sure that everything's paid. Don't worry. You already know what it is." Everything was going well for a time. So one day, it was a regular day. Nothing was happening. Maybe sometime around noon, something like that. Great business. Individual number one was having some Chinese food or some good food, man. He was living it up, enjoying all this extra money and not having any accountability to anything other than making sure he meets his quota. And he knows he's going to meet his quota, so he's chilling. Out of nowhere, dealer calls. Dealer says, "Hey, man, need you at my house right now." No questions asked. Individual one gets up. The reason why there's no questions asked isn't just because of the principle of dealer call, but dealer never calls. So something's wrong. Now on the way to the house, individual is looking and making sure that everything's cool. Text messages were sent. Everyone's checking in. Bam, 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 bam. Everything's good on individual's end, right? So individual shows up. Sees a couple trucks, blacked out cars, all that stuff. And the house was empty. Surprising. And so dealer is waiting inside of the house. Individual pulls up, walks up. Dealer welcomes him. Dealer says, "We're having a meeting. I need you to be here. You didn't do anything. I know you didn't do anything. You're fine, and I will vouch for you because I know you're fine. You don't bullshit me. But something happened that something's about to get addressed right now. And I want you to see this because I want you to see the other side of this shit that isn't money." So, individual one is fucking shaking, nervous as hell, because individual one knows there's only one reason why you're here. There's only one reason why there would be a meeting about something that happened. Somebody's about to get fucked up or killed. So, everyone walks to the living room. Bunch of random guys, individuals never met before, sees them. And they don't look like, according to individual, they didn't look like your typical higher ups of the underworld. Suits all blacked out, tattoos and scars and shit, all that. No, they look like your everyday Kroger shopper. Guys wearing fucking belts, Some had name brands, but some didn't. Average folk. At least that's what they looked like. So they start talking or whispering, really. And individual kind of keeps his distance a little bit. And he's scared shitless. So then they all go to the garage. So all of those guys, everyone, and dealer, everyone goes into the garage. And it's a pretty big fucking garage. Like, this is a big house. So walk into the garage. Individual, of course. What does individual see? Sees a guy, hands tied behind his back, the blacked out bag on top of his head, breathing. But according to the individual, this wasn't just a guy on his knees breathing. He was shaking, convulsions, like literal fear coming over him. This isn't like that adrenaline shake either you get from like riding roller coasters. No, this is fear, the essence of fear, the body language of fear, right? So they turn the light on. And the guy had, they take off the bag. They look right at him. Dealer says, "Hey, short. Big time short. Not even close to being short. Like, you're fucking up. Big time. To the point where you're making me look bad. See, the thing is that your fuck up, right, is putting me in a position to where I have to put my personal money into this shit to cover up for you. Now, these people right here, the gentleman I was telling you about, all those guys, they're looking, watching, listening, saying a fucking word, nothing. And dealer says, and I know it's not anybody else. I know it's you. Because I know you. See, I gave you an opportunity to make some money. I gave you an opportunity to not get out, but you're comfortable. So why you're fucking up, I don't fucking know. And I don't really want to fucking know anymore. Because it's because I know you that you've chosen to take advantage of this shit and push it to its limit. So, you already know what this is. You know what's about to happen. So get ready. Are you ready? See, individual is already panicking in his fucking mind. So he's listening to this and he's thinking, oh, they about to blast this motherfucker right now. But there isn't a gun in sight. Instead, they do something worse. Torture. Now, there's a difference between punching somebody or like jumping somebody because it's temporary, and usually jumping somebody, you know, like I used to get jumped. It was to hurt you but not kill you or like send a message or nothing. It was just to fuck with you, you know, that type of shit. Makes a big difference. But this was a different thing. Completely different. And as you can imagine, individual is thinking, what the fuck am I doing here right now? Why am I here? Why did I get into this? I'm not supposed to be here. This is none of my fucking business. Why am I here? This money wasn't worth it. I don't want to see this shit. I don't want to know what's about to happen. But obviously you can't say that shit. Because you order that, somebody's going to kill you or they're going to do the same thing to you. Because they're going to see weakness. They don't care that you're bringing in money. It's weakness. So, they start, these two guys. One of them was about 6'4", big burly motherfucker. Like, imagine some real big hands and like, you know a guy, if you know this, then you know. A man that's used to punching has like leather on his knuckles.
Yeah.
Like real thick skin on there. Like, yeah. I mean, not UFC fighters. Some UFC fighters have like gripped hands and, you know, they've done what they've done. No, these are the hands of somebody that's like pummeled some people for a living, right? Both of these individuals have that. Both hefty motherfuckers. So individual one is looking at this and kind of wondering like, damn, like you're about to get fucked up, you know? Now keep in mind, dealer is a really nice guy. Outside of
he sounds like
the underworld,
human being, yeah,
real nice guy. Mm-hmm. As long as you don't fuck with his money or his business. Mm-hmm. So they start beating this man, and I mean beating, like not just hitting, jumping, you're down, kicking. No. You tipped over. Get it back up. Stand right there. Cool. Right back at it. Swinging, beating, ribs, stomach, face, shoulders, arms, legs, balls, ass. I mean, they went for everything to make sure this motherfucker didn't get a chance to walk away or anything like that. Like, it was unlike anything else individual has ever seen, even in personal experiences. At least that's what individual says. And you just see the sounds that this man was making. It's not like somebody that's getting that's fighting in the UFC or boxing. See, I present those examples because you'll hear like, ooh, ah, like, sounds of fighting. No, these were sounds of like cowardice, of like crumbling, death. Like a man that knows this is the end for me. Right. And nobody's moving. Everyone's watching. Nobody's saying anything. If anything, actually, Dealer is kind of smiling. This wasn't just like that was another side of Dealer that individual had never seen before. It was evil. Right? Like not just bad behavior, not just cut you off in traffic type of evil, like genuine evil and malice in his spirit, and taking joy out of seeing the fuck up, getting fucked up. And it was like hearing somebody just get stabbed to death, man. I mean, the grunts, the cries, the stops, the pleas, all that stuff. Everything. The sounds, you could hear the rib cage, you could hear everything, and these two big men, they're just doing their job. They don't care. This is just another day to them. This is just another person that fucked up, taking care of business. It is what it is. So the guy gets unconscious. Pick him up. Two guys take him out. Now an individual never sees him again. So Dealer starts talking to all the men, right? Except for individual. And if anything, individual steps out per Dealer's request. Individual gets out, obviously curious where the hell this guy is and where these two men are. Nowhere to be seen. Get outside to the front of the house and just wait. Look casual, look at your phone, all that shit. Try to forget that you just watched somebody get damn near beaten to death. And I just jumped. Like aggressive, malice, evil intentions of torturing you without killing you.
Mm-hmm.
So fast forward about 20, 30 minutes, and then the individual is just outside processing and like wondering, how the fuck do I get out of this? What am I doing? This is not for me. Like, this money, fuck that. I mean, individual doesn't care. He's on top of his shit, but that's not the point.
Mm-hmm.
Point is that $1 or $100 to these people, it doesn't fucking matter. The fact is, you fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
So things will happen.
Mm-hmm.
So Dealer comes out. Dealer sees that this individual is shaken up visibly, hand shaking a little bit, and Dealer just kind of like pats the individual on the shoulder and is like, "Oh, don't worry, man. It's just another day." But yeah, I wanted you to see that. You needed to see that. You see, you're not the type of guy that should be in this anyway. But you need to know that if you stay in this, you fuck up. Not that you would. You don't have a history of doing that. But if you do, this will be you. So, individual asked, what's going to happen to this guy? Where's he at? I don't see him anywhere. Dealer said, you probably won't. Ever. Probably won't walk the streets again. But you don't need to know any of that. What you do need to know is really wonder if you want to keep doing this. Now, individual was very conflicted, horrified, fascinated, and somehow curious. All that combined. Obviously, it's adrenaline, and fear all in one. And he actually asked, like, am I still able to Get out of this shit. This ain't for me. I see it now. Like, I see what you meant before, but I see it now. This, not worth it. I don't want to die over weed or money. And dealer, see, individual was a God believer in some sense. So this has to be God. Dealer said, yep, just give me the phone numbers of your guys and I'll take over. But I also never want to see you again. Ever. An individual once said, not even to play basketball, or are you serious? Like, why? Like, I mean, I don't see the problem. And dealer said, nah, see, here's the thing. You're a liability. See, I like you. So I'm willing to tell you this right now. Now, I want you to know this because I don't want you to ever come back to me curious about anything or ever come back to this world, really. Fuck off and take care of yourself. So the individual got the fuck up out of there. No questions asked, and that's it. You know, there's no problem. You know, it wasn't a friendship per se. It was more like we're super cool. We hoop, chilies. You know, every time we hang out, it's all good. But it's never to the point where like I'm gonna miss this friendship or anything like that. Right. It was good business. It was cool.
Yeah.
This individual definitely had a wake up call, and clearly that was not the path for him. And then he did some other stupid shit, but that's for another time. See, I say that story about this individual because this individual was in a financial constraint due to not knowing how to manage their money. But this isn't something specific or special about this individual. Like, this is something that I'm sure happens to a lot of people, especially people that grow up in the hood. You grow up and the only options or financial options you have, you know, are slanging dope, dealing weed, something to do with the fucking underworld, basically. Sucking dick, whatever the hell. Everything that has to do with that. And lack of knowledge or lack of financial literacy, like, you know, it's a generational thing. Like, this isn't just something that talking about money and dealing with money isn't just something that you read a book and, at least not to me. You read a book and you change your way of thinking. No, dude, there's a weight to it, especially if you're like the only son. See, like me, I take the shit to heart because I think sometimes, and not that it would happen, but I think my parents die, right? I mean, they will at some point. My siblings are not in a financial place to, I don't know, they're not smart with their money. Not that they're not. But everything, responsibility of where this family tree is going, and like the legacy of what the hell we're going to do with the rest of our lives, and what happens with this dynasty or whatever, all falls on who? Me. Even if I don't want it, even if I didn't ask for it, it all falls on you. This is bigger than just reading a book. This is bigger than just having $5,000 in your bank account and being the average consumer. This is about making sure that your family is set mentally at the very fucking least, you know? And it makes a difference. Huge difference. And you'll see it in just talking to people that you talk to somebody that doesn't manage their money well, all you'll hear is how they're spending it.
Yeah.
You talk to somebody that knows what the hell they're doing, in some sense, they'll say, nah, man, I'm chilling. I'm saving up. I'm trying to buy a house. I'm trying to buy a car. I'm trying to invest this. I'm trying to build a portfolio. And it makes a difference, man. See, I used to have friends that had all that vernacular of spending money, getting some shoes. Let's go get some bitches. Let's go to the club. Let's buy a bottle. Let's go here. Let's go there. Let's do this. Let's do that. But they lived at home. They were driving SRT8 Chargers, but they couldn't pay a fucking bill at home. You see what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, it's a whole different ball game, really. And I didn't realize I was talking for 49 minutes. So, sorry.
No, you did.
Yeah.
It was interesting. Wow.
You take the lead. My bad, brother. I didn't realize I kept going.
I don't even have anything to say. I have nothing to say. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Like, literally have nothing to say.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, look, like, you can study the trickle down economics. You can study how some things are in place to keep people rich and to keep people poor. But the way I think about it is just kind of like, look, at least be educated. That way, we're not having a family full of idiots, and then we all die off and everyone's broke after us. You know, like it's okay to be rich in financial literature or education, even if you're not financially rich. It's not really about the money. It's about knowing better and doing better.
Yeah,
pretty much. But that's another threshold too, man. Like, in order to get to that point where you're seeking knowledge outside of the paradigm that you're in, you have to have a breaking point.
Yeah.
Whether it's a relationship or depression, no, not depression, because that could be clinical, but something like individual number one, you know? And it's unfortunate that something like that has to happen. But that's just how the financial system is, really. Like, you're either born into knowledge or you're not.
Yeah.
I know my family wasn't. None of us were born into money or knowledge, frankly. Hell, my family in Mexico, man, Mexico is a whole nother ball game, frankly. Like, we're talking about American finances. Mexico is a fucking shithole when it comes to money. The average consumer over there probably makes less than $20,000 a year here.
Yeah.
To us, that's poor. To them, that's medium wage.
Yeah.
You know, granted, different finances and all that. But the point is that, dude, most of my family over there, according to my parents, on both of their sides, none of them care to preserve anything or push anything or help their kids. Like, I hear all about my cousins being fucking idiots and then still living at home at 30, 35. I guess fine, you know, if you're living at home at that age and doing something. But if you're just living at home fucking around, going out partying, drinking with friends, like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But that all falls on the parents at the end of the day. Like, if your parents don't know any better, how the hell are you going to know any better until something happens?
Yeah.
You know? But I'm happy I did.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy that I know better and my kids will know better. And I want to put myself in a financial stability position. I'm perfectly fine with the idea of never being rich. If anything, I don't want to be rich because I don't think I want the responsibilities that come with being at that level.
Yeah.
Take it back to this guy, you know, that I met in the sauna. Like, dude, he didn't realize how much responsibility actually came with it until after he lost everything. And then now he'll probably never get back to that point, though he has the intuition and the knowledge for it, and, you know, he has the energy for it. But realistically, I don't think that's something that he'll ever achieve again, or his family. And that's where his family fucked up. They fucked the rest of their lives and then the generations afterward. You know?
Yeah.
And hell, even Jay-Z, they talk about this in rap, but it's overlooked because of the rhythm and the beats and everything that's going on. Jay-Z said it best: Dad killed the family tree when he started playing with needles or something like that, and it was in the recent verse. Like, it's acknowledged that drugs and lack of knowledge will fuck up your entire family, not just your direct kids, right? But your kids afterwards, your grandkids, their kids, etc., etc.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Like, this isn't just like, go make yourself financially stable. Like, see, these are the things that cross my mind. I'm thinking way ahead and thinking, what do I need to do now to make sure that down the road, nobody's thinking like an idiot and everyone's capable of something. Something. It doesn't have to be everything, but just something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I want
Yeah.
for my family.
Same.
Mm-mm.
Same. Did you ever take a finance class in high school?
No, but I took it in college.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I pretty much broke down, oh God, PTSD from that class. I think I barely passed it with like a 71 or 72, and that's because I was cool with the professor. Yeah, he was an old guy.
Yeah.
But that class, I remember that psychology, taking a psychology class, taking an actual, no, it was accounting. It wasn't a finance. Well, I guess that is a finance class.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did, man. And they kind of explained a little bit the financial structures in place, you know, and how to kind of survive in it per se.
Yeah.
Or not give you literal instructions, but tell you what it is and how it works. You choose what you do with that information, essentially. Pretty much.
Yeah. I went to two high schools, but the second one I went to was a suburban high school, and we had a finance class. I think I took that in my junior year.
Yeah.
And that completely changed my mind on how to manage money. And I thank God for that class, because without that, I wouldn't have any knowledge of how important it is to save money and how to use that money to have a sustainable future. I'm not saying that I'm like doing everything perfect, but I'm better off than what I would have been had I not. And yeah, thank God that I got moved to a suburban school where they actually teach that type of stuff.
Do they really?
Well, at least at that school. And then the girl that I'm dating, she also went to a school that taught the same exact curriculum.
Really?
Yeah.
I never learned any of that.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. I think that should be taught at all schools.
Agreed.
Is because I learned about Roth IRAs, I learned about CDs, I learned about investments, like stocks. I learned about how much money you should save out of your income. Like it was very educational, and I should have taken it more seriously, but what I did take seriously benefited me tremendously.
Oh yeah, I have no doubt about it. Yeah, I mean, I see it. Neither one of you or me. See, to me, my girl gets on my ass sometimes because I'll be saying, "No, I'm broke." I'm not broke.
No.
But to me, like, not having a certain amount of money in my checking and savings tells me broke.
Same.
After that, I ain't going out. I ain't buying nothing. No cigars, no food, no nothing. I'm making sure I'll stay in that house for a month to make sure that everything's back to normal, per se. And I love that. I have no regrets about doing anything like that.
It's overrated. Like going out and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm working 2 jobs, dude, because there was a point in time where I was going out instead of going to a second job.
Yeah.
And it's like, what did I have to show for that?
Nothing. Same.
Hardly anything. Anything. I mean, yeah, my friendships probably developed a little bit more, and my social skills might have developed a little bit more from going out and meeting new people. But at the end of the day, it's like, it just depends on what sacrifice you want. It's like, or it depends on what it is that you value and what you have to pick your sacrifice.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you can sacrifice this time and make money that can then benefit your future family. But by sacrificing this time, you may be missing a greater connection with your friends and your family currently. But
I see that.
I think that right now, I think that it's worth it for me. This isn't like a permanent thing. This is only temporary. And I think that working 2 jobs is extremely important if you're not making $70,000 a year.
Yeah.
And if you intend on being the sole provider of your family, because it's not for everybody. It's not like everybody should do that. It's just, that's a goal of mine, is to be the type of husband that my wife doesn't have to work.
Yeah.
But yeah.
See, I grew up with that, so I naturally have an off put to that.
Yeah.
Right. Like I can't do that. If anything, I want my wife to work. One, because I grew up with my mom staying at home and doing shit, and,
Yeah.
you know, and you find shit to do you're not supposed to do. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
So one, get out the house. I don't want you to go crazy being in the house taking care of the kids. I think that's why a lot of women actually kind of like working because like you're not just cramped up in the house, essentially.
Yeah.
And then two, dual income homes always work better.
Yeah.
Always. I don't have the statistics, but you can go ask anybody. It always works better because there's more freedom, you know, less stress. I mean, yeah, you're stressed about bills and shit, but you're not as stressed as you would be if you were the sole provider per se, not making a certain amount of money, and you got to take care of your wife, the bills, and kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Yeah, that's why I naturally like think like, nah, my wife's gonna work. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
I look at it as like a challenge and a goal for me.
Oh, I get it.
To where it keeps me motivated to do that. Don't get me wrong. Like if my wife wants to work, she can work.
Yeah.
But if she also just wants to paint, or if she wants to make music, or if she wants to run, or whatever it is, whatever her little project, not little project, whatever her project is, and whatever her passion is, I want her to follow that. And if she can make an income off of that, then cool.
Yeah.
You know, because some of these housewives make buku money off of Etsy.
And OnlyFans.
Off of Etsy.
Yeah.
Creating little knickknacks and stuff that people want to purchase.
Cooking videos. Yeah.
Something,
Sewing. Yeah.
Something. Well, dang.
All that stuff.
Well, yeah. I mean,
hey, no, you'd be surprised. Actually, there's a guy on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Funnily enough, he dedicates his entire YouTube video to, if you type in, "Hey Dad, how do I?" you'll see a white guy with glasses, and dude, he has a literal whole playlist of like how to tie your tie, how to tie your shoes, how to dress well, how to do all this stuff. Like for the people that I just have literally no reference point to do certain basic things.
Yeah, I had to learn from YouTube.
So he, that's the thing. Anyway, sorry that kind of veered off, but look. I think you don't have to be rich. I mean, we've said this before. You don't have to be the wisest, the smartest. You don't have to make 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, $100,000 a year, whatever. If you do, fantastic. I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
I wish success on everybody, even my enemies, because I never want to see them again. I want you to do so well that you forget about my existence. That's exactly what I want.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to end it with this. If you're listening to this and you're struggling to pay bills and don't have kids, because it's completely different. If you don't have kids, maybe you have a mortgage, but you don't have kids or a wife or a husband, get your ass up. Go find a second job. Go find ways to not make your money work for you, because not everybody wants that. Not everyone wants to commit me enough for a Roth IRA or anything like that. Mm-hmm. But find ways to make sure that you're set, or at least educate yourself, because it makes a fucking difference.
Yeah.
Like a huge difference, and you'll notice it in your lifestyle. Yeah. And I have no regrets about not going out or anything like that. I agree with you. It's overrated. Unless you're dating, maybe the occasional hangout, cool. I don't need it. I tell y'all all the time, I don't need to see you every week.
And I don't need to see you either.
I mean, I'm perfectly fine just seeing you here at the podcast. Yeah. This is a hangout, essentially.
Yeah, this is.
But yeah, I want everybody to do good, man. Even the people that dislike me, I want you to forget. I want you to do so well that you forget about me. I mean that.
Yeah.
For sure. That's what I want to end it with. Mm-hmm. Educate yourself. You deserve it.
Yeah. And what I have to say is Jesus saves, so should you. Save your money.
Yeah, that's true.
That was a play on words, but it's still applicable. Yeah. It's like, save your money.
Yeah, and I am a believer of God, especially if talking with Ken. And I think that
man is awesome.
Yeah, it really is. Shout out to you, Ken.
Shout out to Ken.
You always have my appreciation for sure. But I don't think God, this is just me and my speculative the speculatory bag. I don't think God wants his children to suffer.
No.
But I think he allowed for humans to naturally develop intellect and to allow themselves to educate themselves in certain things. And I think that financial literature is in place because God allowed it to be. Because of that, if you're religious or if you believe in God, trust God's ability to put the knowledge in the world and use that knowledge to your benefit. Yeah, I like that. Anyway, with that being said, thank you for joining us. Like, share, comment, subscribe, all the above. Thank you for being here and listening.
Thank you.
This was Mario.
And Clint.
And we're out.